topic, with your specialism in focus on victims, it feels appropriate to start by talking about Zara Aleena and how difficult reading this will be for her family.
Yeah, I have a lot of empathy for her family this morning. I think that when you've been through anything like this and you've lost a woman to murder, to domestic violence, whatever it is, I think there's so much grief and so much trauma to process. But I think it's just made so much worse by knowing that there were so many people that could have stepped in and stopped this man from walking the streets, and that there were so many red flags here with this man. And I don't blame the family at all for feeling like a system that was set up to protect women, to protect Zara from this man, failed, and that is why she's no longer with us.
Doctor, but why did it fail? That's the question. Is it a lack of staff? Is it a lack of training? Is it a lack of awareness? What do you think?
So I have been in this sector since I was 19. I'm 32 now. So, it's really, there's people with a lot more experience than me. But even in that short time I've been doing this, I feel like we're finding the same failings over and over again. I feel like we're repeating history. We're talking about the staff aren't trained enough, there's not enough resources, there's not enough staff in the first place, that the training isn't advanced enough, that the evidence isn't, we're not paying attention to the evidence. And it's getting to the point where it feels like Groundhog Day. I feel like every report that's released is saying the same thing with the same failings, and we're not learning. I don't know how many more cases we need to get to the point where we're going to pay attention. But I mean, if it was purely just my opinion, I would say that we are not risk assessing these men accurately or based on the evidence. In Jordan's case, there were multiple offences, escalating violent offences, and it should have been enough to put them all together, not to look at them in isolation, and to realise that this man is extremely dangerous and he's very likely to do something that is life-changing. He already has in so many instances. So why have we just let this guy carry on? Yeah. It's really, really hard case. This is an awful case.
It was absolutely shocking to see the CCTV at the time of his trial, which showed him following women, chasing them. I mean, he literally looked as though he was looking for his supper. It was one of the most animalistic CCTV things that I've ever seen.
And you think of those women, and there's 5 or 6 of them. It could have been them.
Absolutely, and there will be lots of women who are aware that they were possibly one of his victims and will be traumatised by this as well. But for people watching and listening, I just want to run through the key findings and get your reaction to this from the reports. They say he was released from prison on licence 9 days before the killing. He failed to attend any meetings with probation officers, and yet he was not recalled to prison at all. And although he was known to be a violent man, all of his history, as you say, had been viewed in isolation. And given what you're saying, there aren't enough risk assessments, do you think the public have reason to believe that they're not safe from violent criminals?
Honestly, yes, I do think that. I think that there is enough failing for us to believe that this isn't being done properly. I think that what you've just raised about the incidents being seen in isolation, in silos, is one of our biggest problems, because even for me, I've come across cases over the years where maybe a perpetrator has assaulted his ex-girlfriend, then they've split up, that's been reported but nothing was really done. Then he got with a new partner and the assault was more serious, but again, nothing really done. Then a new partner and he stalked and harassed her, then there was a restraining order, nothing really done. And then, a couple of years later, he's nearly killed somebody. Or in some cases, they have gone on and killed somebody. So sometimes I think when we've looked at those cases, we've sort of gone, oh, well, it was only an assault, it was only an argument, it was only harassment, maybe he was still in love with her. And we've sort of minimised or romanticised these men's behaviours. And actually what we were looking at was step by step getting closer and closer to killing a woman.